In this tutorial in CyberLink PowerDirector, I'd like to give you some basic tips on editing subtitle text that's created by the text-to-speech converter. That's a tool you can use if you're a subscriber to PowerDirector 365 currently. Now what I have on the screen is just a visual background. It's a car on a color board, and I have a one-sentence narration. And what I'd like to do is to take this narration, turn it into subtitles, and then do some editing, because you're going to see the subtitles aren't always what I necessarily want. So to do that, I'm going to highlight any clip on the audio track, and then I'll right-click and choose Use Speech to Text. When I do that, I have this option, and here in this case it's very important for me to uncheck the box that says Transcribe Selected Range Only, because I have this area on the right, as you can see, that's also part of this single sentence, and I want to make sure it transcribes everything on that audio timeline. So I'm going to uncheck the box and click Create. Since we're dealing with a sentence, it doesn't take long at all, and I will have the transcription. And let's watch and see how well it did. Let's play this.
What this really says, in a nutshell, folks, in a nutshell, is that the more you overcharge people, the less satisfied they will be for having purchased.
I need to turn my playhead off of the range here. Now we'll get the whole thing.
For having purchased that product.
Okay. It did do the other segment. I just forgot to turn the range off. So now it's about what I want, but the one thing I don't like is here, I've got 2 lines of subtitle, and that's too much. I want to pace it better. So how do you make those changes? Let me show you a couple tricks here. First thing I have is, this is my long sentence, and I need to change it. So I'm going to highlight it, and then I'm going to click on the 4th button from the left, the one with the dots between the two, looks like a C and a backward C. That will actually take that and it will split that. Now what it does on each part of it is it uses the same text. It inherits it. So I want to say, in a nutshell, folks, I'll double click on that, and then I'll take the part I don't want on the first half and press it, highlight it and delete it. Then I'm going to double click the second one. I'll take the front part off, and then we're going to get it on the same line. Okay, now that should work. Now one tip that I have found that I think helps sometimes, at least in my version of PowerDirector, is that if I have at least 1 frame gap between these two, it seems to function better. I ran into a situation where I didn't, and some things didn't work out the way I thought they would. So let's try this segment here and see how it looks with the smaller and shorter phrases in the subtitle room.
In a nutshell, folks, in a nutshell, is that the more you overcharge people, the less satisfied they will be for having purchased that product.
Okay, so we have that product separate here, and maybe I don't want that. And maybe I want they will be also split out. So I'm going to take this item here, we'll enlarge it, we'll go back to this section here, and we'll split it. Okay, I'm going to put they will be on one line, all by itself. And then I'm going to put for having purchased the product together. I'm going to double check this and take the they will be off. Then I'm going to highlight this one and hold down the control key and highlight the second one. And then I'm going to use this other one, which is the opposite, to merge subtitles. And it kept a space between them. Less satisfied they will be for having purchased the product. Let's see if it did the splits right. Again, I'm going to enlarge this area here and just make it just a very small gap between them. Now let's get back to our product and let's see what it looks like.
What this really says, in a nutshell, folks, in a nutshell, is that the more you overcharge people, the less satisfied they will be for having purchased that product.